The more we chase something, the further it seems to slip away. It's like when you desperately seek a job, a special someone, or the achievement of a particular goal. Somehow it always feels just out of reach. But what if I told you that you can attain what you desire in an instant by letting go? It may seem paradoxical, right? There is an insightful teaching shared by Ram Dass, a renowned spiritual teacher and psychologist, that illustrates this concept beautifully. In his story, he explains how monkeys in India are trapped by placing nuts in a jar with a small opening. The monkey grabs the nuts, but then cannot pull its fist out because it refuses to release them. This tale highlights a universal truth. Attachment leads to suffering, but detachment leads to freedom. Do you find your hands stuck in a jar, holding on to relationships, habits, and mindsets that bring you nothing but grief? Yet, simply hearing this wisdom isn't enough. You must internalize it and transform your approach to life. It's common to hear people say, "Let it go." But what does that really mean? Think about the monkey and the jar. The monkey's suffering doesn't arise from its desire for the nuts, but from its inability to release them when needed. Ram Dass shared this story not just about the monkey, but as a lesson for all of us. Detachment isn't about withdrawing from life. It's not about being indifferent to people, your dreams, or your career. In fact, it's quite the opposite. True detachment involves a deep engagement with life, yet without the emotional turbulence that attachment often brings. It's the art of living fully in the world while remaining unattached to the fleeting outcomes. Life's wisdom teaches us that true detachment means to act from a place of integrity, focusing on doing what is right without fixating on success or failure. It's about engaging deeply with the world, yet remaining unshackled by the need for specific outcomes. Detachment does not mean passivity or carelessness, but rather a skillful grace that infuses your actions with inner peace. When you detach, you loosen your grip on cravings and acknowledge that your worth and joy do not depend on them being fulfilled. How often have you chased after something, only to feel emptiness once it was attained, or worse, to still feel insufficient? Detachment helps you realize that your true well-being and happiness come from within, not from external validation or possessions. Take a moment to reflect. What are you holding on to so desperately that it is causing you suffering? By simply becoming aware, you have taken the first step toward freedom. This journey is not just theoretical, it's deeply transformative, beginning with the awareness to let go. Stage 1. The role of acknowledgement. Now that we have an understanding of what detachment is, let's explore the first stage of practicing it. This stage is essential, as before we can let go, we must first become fully aware of what we are holding on to. Acknowledgement starts with recognizing our feelings and attachments without judgment. Often, we think that simply acknowledging our desires or losses means we are weak or vulnerable. But in reality, this is the first step toward true freedom. When we admit that we are attached to something, whether it's a person, a goal, or an object, we begin to see the true nature of our attachment and the hold it has over us. Let's illustrate this with an example many can relate to. Imagine you're striving for a promotion at work. This goal becomes the central focus of your thoughts and efforts. You start feeling anxious, wondering if you're doing enough or if your boss is noticing your extra hours. This anxiety is a direct result of your attachment to the outcome. Acknowledgement here means pausing to observe these feelings. Ask yourself, why is this promotion so important to me? What am I feeling in my body as I think about it? You may notice tension in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, or a racing heart. These physical sensations are manifestations of your attachment. To begin the process of acknowledgement, find a quiet space and take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes and bring to mind the thing you are attached to. Observe any emotions or physical responses that come up without judgment or resistance. Simply observe. This simple act of acknowledgement can reduce the intensity of your feelings, making it easier to process and eventually release them. Through this process, you might realize that beneath the surface, your drive for the promotion is tied to a need for validation or a fear of inadequacy. Understanding these underlying emotions can be incredibly enlightening. Acknowledgement is about embracing your current state without resistance, not trying to change your feelings but recognizing them. Stage 2. Self-inquiry and understanding your attachments. Once you have acknowledged your feelings, it's time to dive deeper. This stage involves self-inquiry, the art of investigating the roots of your attachments. In essence, it's about asking the right questions to understand why you hold on to certain desires or outcomes so tightly. Self-inquiry helps you peel back the layers of your emotions, allowing you to uncover the deeper reasons behind your attachments. Let's return to the example of the promotion. Through self-inquiry, you may discover that your desire for the promotion isn't solely about career growth. It could be fulfilling an unmet need for recognition that may stem from past experiences. To begin self-inquiry, start asking yourself open-ended questions that prompt introspection and deeper understanding. Why do I want this so badly? What am I truly seeking to gain from achieving this? What fears arise within me if I don't reach this goal? How might my life change if I let go of this need? These questions invite deep introspection, encouraging you to uncover the true motivations driving your desires. You might find that your ambition for the promotion is tied to a deeper fear of inadequacy, perhaps rooted in past experiences where you didn't receive the validation you sought. Self-inquiry also invites you to observe the stories you tell yourself. Our minds often craft narratives, convincing us that we need something external to feel complete or successful. These stories can be powerful, yet they are often built upon societal conditioning or past experiences rather than reflecting our authentic desires. Consider the influence of your inner self, where unfulfilled needs cause us to seek validation through external achievements or relationships. Becoming aware of these patterns is a critical step toward detaching. Remember, self-inquiry is not a one-time practice. It is an ongoing journey. As you consistently question and explore your attachments, you'll start to see recurring patterns and hidden connections. This deeper awareness empowers you to begin letting go of what no longer serves you, and to align your actions with your true essence. By combining acknowledgement with self-inquiry, you form a strong foundation for detachment. This understanding enables you to not only grasp what you're holding onto, but also to recognize why you're holding onto it. The power of this awareness allows you to realign your actions with your inner values and true desires, making it easier to release what no longer serves you. Stage 3. Processing attachments. Now that we have acknowledged our attachments and explored their roots through self-inquiry, it's time for the next stage, processing. This stage is about coming to terms with our feelings and experiences, allowing us to release the emotional weight they carry. Processing attachments means recognizing that every experience, whether deemed successful or not, holds inherent value. Every experience has something to teach us and contributes to our growth. However, this requires a shift in mindset, which can take effort. For instance, imagine you've recently ended a long-term relationship. Instead of solely focusing on feelings of loss or disappointment, processing allows you to recognize the lessons this experience offered. Maybe it taught you more about your own needs, boundaries, or personal growth. Perhaps you discovered aspects of yourself you hadn't been aware of before. This broader perspective is essential in this stage. Life teaches us that our actions and outcomes are part of a grander, interconnected design. When we trust that each experience serves a higher purpose, we can release attachment to individual results. This perspective reminds us that we are defined not by the outcomes we achieve, but by the growth and wisdom we gather along the way. Processing also involves practicing self-compassion, forgiving ourselves for any perceived mistakes and accepting that, Given the knowledge and resources we had at the time, we did the best we could. When you approach yourself with compassion, you create a safe space within to heal and release attachments. This stage of processing frees you from the emotional entanglement of past experiences, preparing you for the next step. Stage 4. Taking creative action. With a clearer, processed understanding of your attachments, you are now ready to take creative action. This stage is about moving forward with renewed purpose and enthusiasm, no longer burdened by the neediness that previously held you back. Creative action is about engaging with your goals and desires in a way that feels natural and joyful. It's not about forcing outcomes, but allowing your actions to stem from a place of genuine passion and interest. When you act from this space of inner alignment, the results often exceed expectations because you are no longer tethered by fear or the need for validation. Let's revisit the example of pursuing a promotion. This time, instead of obsessing over the promotion itself, focus on what excites you about your work. What projects light up your creativity? Where can you add the most value by channeling your energy into your passions and strengths? By doing so, you become more productive and valuable, and the promotion may come as a natural progression rather than a desperate pursuit. Think about the concept of flow, a state of complete immersion and engagement in the task at hand. Many psychologists describe flow as a state where nothing else seems to matter. Achieving flow allows you to perform at your best and to enjoy the process itself, instead of fixating on the outcome. To cultivate flow, set clear yet challenging goals. Break larger tasks into smaller, manageable steps to maintain motivation and focus. Eliminate distractions, then create time for deep work where you can fully engage with your tasks. By cultivating an environment that supports flow, you enhance your productivity and overall satisfaction. An important aspect of creative action is staying open to new opportunities. The path to your goal may not always be a straight line. Be willing to explore different avenues and pivot when necessary. Flexibility and adaptability are essential when taking effective creative action. It's also crucial to celebrate your progress along the way. Acknowledging the small victories and milestones you achieve helps build momentum, reinforcing your sense of accomplishment and progress on the path. No matter how small the step, each forward movement is a victory. Acknowledging this helps maintain momentum and reinforces your progress. Share your achievements with supportive friends or mentors who can encourage and inspire you. These connections remind you that you're not alone on this journey. Finally, detach from the need for immediate results. Trust that your efforts will bear fruit in their own time. This doesn't mean abandoning timelines or plans. It means staying open to the unfolding journey, knowing that each action you take brings you closer to your larger vision. Processing your attachments clears emotional blockages, and taking creative action empowers you to move forward with resilience and joy. This dynamic combination sets the stage for achieving your goals with a balanced mindset, free from the burdens of attachment. Stage 5. Embracing freedom. True freedom arrives when thoughts about your losses or desired outcomes no longer disturb your emotional peace. In this stage, you reach a sense of liberation where your actions and feelings align harmoniously without being shackled by attachment. Freedom doesn't mean you no longer care about your goals or loved ones. It means you can engage passionately without the desperation of needing a specific result. You are still fully involved and committed, but you are unburdened by obsessive thoughts about success or failure. Consider the example of social activism. Many people work tirelessly for justice or environmental sustainability, causes that are deeply personal. Detachment here doesn't mean indifference, but it means working passionately for these causes without being consumed by anger or frustration when immediate results aren't visible. It's about trusting the process and believing in the value of your efforts, irrespective of immediate gratification. Another key aspect of embracing freedom is self-validation. Often, we seek external approval to feel worthwhile. But when you embrace true freedom, you rely less on others' validation and more on your intrinsic worth. This newfound confidence allows you to act authentically, providing inner resilience against criticisms and setbacks. A helpful practice here is developing a habit of inner dialogue. When you find yourself overly concerned about outcomes, remind yourself that you are doing your best and that your worth isn't contingent on specific results. This internal reassurance builds a solid foundation of self-esteem and helps make detachment a consistent practice. Consider the concept of offering, as it's described in many spiritual traditions. Offering means dedicating your actions and their outcomes to a higher purpose or greater good. This practice helps maintain a balanced perspective, allowing you to release the heavy attachment to specific results. The wisdom shared by enlightened beings teaches us that acting selflessly is key. When we dedicate our efforts to a higher purpose, it reduces the ego's grip on outcomes, creating space for true freedom. Imagine approaching a project or a challenging conversation with a mindset, offer this action to the greater good. This shift in perspective alleviates pressure, allowing you to focus on the process rather than the end result. This approach also trains your mind to focus on the journey, not the destination, making detachment more accessible and natural. To cultivate detachment in your interactions with others, aim to be present and genuine. Don't overfixate on how the other person perceives you. Practice active listening and compassion, understanding that each interaction is an opportunity for connection and growth, not a means to validate your self-worth. Begin by setting intentional reminders in your morning routine. Dedicate your actions for the day to a higher purpose, whether that's contributing to your community, supporting those around you, or simply engaging in meaningful work. Use subtle reminders like sticky notes or phone alerts to reconnect with your intention to act selflessly throughout the day. In the evening, take time to reflect. Acknowledge how you practiced attachment and where you can improve. The beautiful paradox is that letting go of attachment doesn't lead to a lack of experience. Rather, it results in a fuller, richer engagement with life. It's about living passionately and authentically, without the fear or desperation of needing specific outcomes. Start with small actions. Acknowledge your feelings, question your attachments, process them with compassion, and take creative action aligned with your true passions. Offer your actions to a higher purpose and embrace the freedom that comes with detachment. This journey is not about perfection, but about progress. Every step toward detachment is a step toward greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. Your path to freedom and fulfillment starts now, and it begins with letting go. We would love to hear how you're applying these principles in your life. Share your experiences and questions below. Thank you for watching.